YouTube, it's Michael here, and in the next 6 videos I am going to be showing you everything that is on the Yamaha DJX-II keyboard. Now, I've got this Yamaha DJX-II way back in February of 2007. Basically, I have been looking for a Yamaha DJX-II for a long time. The first time I saw the Yamaha DJX-II was when I went into Bonner's for the first time, and they were on display and sold as ex-demo. And I still haven't, to this very day, seen a Yamaha DJX-II in second-hand shops or similar. So yes, I bought the Yamaha DJX-I back in December 2005, and not long after that, around February and March of 2006, that was when I started doing my best to try and find a Yamaha DJX-II. But as I said, I had no luck and still haven't to this very day found one second hand. So I thought the other idea was to look on eBay, and that is what I did. Now, I didn't have my own eBay account at the time, but back in 2007 I saw Yamaha DJX-II and decided to have a friend help me out in getting one. So around mid-January 2007 I found a DJX-II, and I got my friend, who was working at Bonner's at the time, help me get the keyboard, because it was a bidding. It wasn't a buy it now, it was a bidding auction. So about a week has passed, and luckily he won the keyboard for me, and it arrived to him over a week later, and the next day I went to pick it up from work. So I finally got the Yamaha DJX-II back in February 2007, and had so much fun on the keyboard that is what I did for the rest of the day when I first took it home. So I had the DJX-I and DJX-II. Now, I know that on this keyboard the keys are not touch sensitive, like the DJX-I had touch sensitive keys. The DJX-II, this keyboard, didn't have as many sounds as the DJX-I, and it didn't have a complement styles. It didn't have it didn't have a complement styles, but it had 70 patterns, in which I'll be going through with you on the next 6 videos of this keyboard. So yes, so it's really hard for me to say which one's best, the Yamaha DJX-I or DJX-II. I love them both, personally, both of which have great dance styles and patterns, and it's really kept me entertained for hours, that's for sure. So yeah, that's a little backstory of the DJX-II, and that I've been searching for one for ages, but haven't had no luck in second-hand shops or charity shops, etc. So that's when I had the idea of eBay, and myself not having eBay at the time, I've managed to get a friend of mine get it for me. Right, so the first video, this video of the Yamaha DJX-II, I'll be going through with you a tutorial of the Yamaha DJX-II so that you can get to know how to use it if you got one or you're thinking about getting one. And then the second video will be showing the 203 voices. And then the third video will be part 1 of showing the 70 patterns, in which I'll also be messing around with the pattern features like the key shifter, the part select, the part mixer, the variations, and the activators, etc. The fourth video will be part 2 of showing the 70 patterns. The fifth video will be part 3 of the 70 patterns, and finally the 6th video will be part 4 of showing the 70 patterns. I don't need to do a video of showing the demonstration songs of this keyboard, because I've already done that over 8 years ago when I done a video showing the demonstration songs. So here is the tutorial of the Yamaha DJX-II. Thank you very much for watching and hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you on this tutorial of the Yamaha DJX-II, and that is the pattern control. Now, as you can see, that each octave of keys is assigned for the patterns. Now, the bottommost octave of keys is the key shifter, in which you can transpose the pattern's progression. And the second bottom octave is the part selector, in which we can select parts for the part controller using the resonance, cutoff and volume knobs. And the middle octave of the keyboard is the part mixer, in which we can turn parts on and off with a pattern. And the second topmost octave of keys is the pattern player, in which we can change the pattern's variations, and we can also change the patterns as well. And finally, the topmost octave of keys is the activator, in which we can add extra backings to our patterns with the loops and one-shots. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you within the pattern control is the key shifter, which you can transpose the pattern. So I'll show that to you. So that's the bottommost octave of keys, the key shifter. And now we have here the part selector, in which we can select parts for the resonance, cutoff and volume knobs here. So I also show that to you as well. So at the same time, I'll also show you the part controller, which is the real-time control knobs for the resonance, cutoff and volume. And with the part selector, we can select which part of the pattern will be affected by this resonance and cutoff and volume. So I'll show it to you. Or we can select bass. But not only that, we can also, with these keys here, we have the bass and kick, phrase 1, 2 and 3, kick and hi-hat, where we can select multiple parts. So we've got all phrases 1, 2 and 3. Or we can select the bass and kick. Or simultaneously we can select kick and hi-hat. stuff on this keyboard, but if we press these 3 keys simultaneously, we can select everything. So every part of the pattern can be affected with the resonance, cutoff and volume knobs. So yeah, some really cool features here. So we'll just put that back to normal. Okay, so that's the part selector, and now we're moving on to the part mixer, in which we can turn parts of a pattern on and off. And not only that, there's the toggle key here, in which we can toggle the parts that are on and off. So these are on, but when I press toggle, the ones that are off are now on, and the ones that were on are now off. So we can toggle them. Or maybe if we want to select certain parts, we use these 3 keys here. And we press these 3 keys simultaneously to turn every part on. Okay, so that's the part mixer, and now we're moving on now to the pattern player, in which we can change the pattern's variations, and also with these 2 keys we can select different patterns. Now each pattern on the DJX-II has 10 variations. We have 6 main variations, and we have 4 fill-in variations. So I'll show that to you. And also this keyboard, or the DJX-II has 70 patterns, which means it altogether has 700 different pattern variations with all the 70 patterns combined. So that's a lot of stuff for a keyboard that was released in 2000 of that era, and it's a really fantastic dance machine, if you ask me. With the I know that I showcased the DJX-I earlier on this year, but it's hard to say which is better, the DJX-I or the DJX-II. I love them both. So here is the pattern player, which we can change the variations. And not only that, we can also reset the variation by pressing the key. So it's like a resetting the pattern. So yeah, some really cool stuff. And now we're just going to change some variations. And now we can use these 2 keys to change the patterns. So that's how you change the different patterns. You can also change the patterns using this dialer wheel here. When the patterns are being played, it doesn't reset the tempo to its default. It will only do it if the pattern isn't playing. So I change the rhythm, pattern rather, when the pattern's not playing, and it will give you the default tempo. Or if I select a different one, see when the tempo changes to its default. Though the tempo doesn't change to its default when you're changing patterns and the pattern's already playing. Okay, so that's the pattern player. I'm just going to change the pattern. One moment, there we go. And now the last thing that I want to show you within the pattern control, and that is the Activator, in which we can add extra backends to our patterns with the loops and one-shots. So I'll show that to you. And also the Activator with the loops and one-shots can also be affected with the part selector with the resonance, cutoff and volume. So we just select Activator on the part selector, and then we just play our pattern and add extra parts. So that's the Activator. Yes, so here we have the loops and one-shots. With these 5 keys here, if you can see them, those are the loops, and the keys, you probably can't see them on this video, are the one-shots. So the loops, what they do, they just keep looping until you press the key to stop it. And the very top keys are the one-shots, where you just press them once. DJ! They're just one-shots, so they don't loop. And as I said earlier, this can also be affected with the resonance and cutoff. Okay, that DJ was quite loud. DJ! So yes, that's the Activator with the loops and one-shots, which you can add on top of a pattern, or you can turn parts of a pattern off and add the loops and one-shots. So I'll show that to you quickly. So yeah, some really awesome and cool features on the DJX-II within the pattern control. So that's the pattern control with the key shifter to transpose the pitch, the part selector to select parts for the real-time control knobs with the resonance, cutoff and volume, part mixer, which we can turn parts of a pattern on and off, pattern player, which we can change the pattern's variations and the pattern itself, and finally the Activator with the loops and one-shots to add on top of the patterns that are playing. So really cool stuff. But what if you just want to play it like a normal keyboard? Well, that's simple. Well, because at the moment the keyboard is currently on pattern mode, in which each of these keys are assigned to the patterns as I showed you. But if you press this button here, the voice/keyboard, you can play this just like a normal keyboard.
Massive.
Move it.
Okay.
Peace.
That beat.
Respect is due.
Scratching.
The how.
We just select another voice. So yeah, we can just play it like a normal keyboard. Just one more thing that I want to show you with the pattern. That's the voice mode, by the way, which you can just play it like a normal keyboard. However, this keyboard is not touch sensitive, so like it doesn't matter how soft or hard you play the keys, it stays in fixed velocity because this keyboard is not touch sensitive, which is okay with this sort of keyboard because this keyboard is more of a dance machine than the keyboard itself. So I think not having touch response, I'd accept that on this keyboard. I'm going to find a sound. I'm just trying to find a synth sound, so bear with me. That'll do. Because on one of the patterns is a really good recognisable song of the late 90s. This one. So we just have this pattern playing, and we can select the we can leave the pattern playing and then select then change the keyboard into keyboard mode, which we play the voices. So I'll show that to you. Bit of keyboard mode. And here we go. So yeah, like I've said it so many times, but cool, really cool and awesome features. Yeah, sorry, I just lost my words there a bit. It just goes to show how awesome this keyboard is for its time, and I still love it now. So that's that you can keep the pattern playing whilst playing it in keyboard mode. So there you go, and that is the pattern mode with the different keys, with the key shifter, part selector, part mixer, etc. And the keyboard mode in which you can just play it like a normal keyboard. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to show you, and this is only going to be a quick thing, and that is the ribbon controller, in which you have like the scratch effects, pitch bend and pitch and tempo with the patterns. Now, before I show you that, I forgot to mention when I showed the pattern controller on the first part, that this keyboard, the DJX-II, is a no keyboard skills required keyboard, which means that you don't have to know how to play a keyboard to make great music on the DJX-II. All you need is a good sense of rhythm with the patterns and that, as I showed you earlier. Okay, so here is the ribbon controller, and we have these effects here. We got scratch 1, scratch 2, pitch bend, and pitch and BPM. So I'll show it to you. So at the moment it's currently on scratch. And here is scratch 2. It's almost like as you're like scratching a DJ deck. You get the gist. And here we have the pitch bend, which it doesn't work for the patterns. I'll show that to you. That doesn't work for the patterns, but it works for the voices. And now we move back to pattern, and then finally we have the pitch and BPM with the ribbon controller. So I'll show it to you, and that applies with the pattern. So yeah, there you go, and that is the ribbon controller with the effects such as scratch 1, scratch 2, pitch bend, pitch and BPM for the patterns. So that is the ribbon controller. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to show you, and that is the isolator knobs here. And we have low, mid and high, which are basically the keyboard's equalizers. So this one, as I know, pumps up the bass or turns down the bass, and these two does other things which I will show you. So here's the pattern, and this is the one where you can really pump up the bass. So yeah, those are the isolators. You already heard them. That one that really does pump up the bass of the pattern. So that's really cool. Or you can turn the bass down. And also with the isolators, you can also tweak things around a bit. So if you want, say, turn these down and just have the bass pumping. Or maybe have the bass turned there and have these up. And I think if you have that there and these, and if you have those low and this one sort of like in the middle there. Yeah. It kind of sounds like you're listening to the radio. So yeah, we can just tweak these isolator knobs, which is basically the equalizer. So yeah, that was just a quick thing to show. That's the isolator or equalizers, as most other keyboards would call them, equalizers. Not only does it work with the patterns, it also works with the voices. I'll show that to you. Or maybe if we select a drum kit. I'm going to select a drum kit, one moment. There we go, there's one. We can just, then you can recognise the so yeah, that's also works with the voices as well, and not just the patterns. So there you go. That is the isolator knobs, which this is low, this is mid, and this is high. And you can tweak things round a bit so you can pump up the bass, or turn other bits up so you can really pump those up as well. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to show you, and that is the live effector, which you have altogether 10 different effects, which is basically your keyboard's DSP effects. Yeah, like all the other keyboards, they'll be known as DSP effects. So yes, this works with the patterns and the voices, which I showed you. I already selected a pattern, in which I will show that to you. And we have the distortion, auto pan, ring mod, flanger, phaser, slice, delay, echo, lo-fi, and wah. So here is the distortion. Auto pan, ring mod, flanger, phaser, slice, delay, echo, lo-fi, and finally the wah effect. Okay, so that's the live effector effects, and now we use this to have the live effector on. And we release it to turn it off. But what if you want to keep it on there so you don't have to keep holding it down? That's simple. You just press that, and then you hold this, then let go of the top switch there, and now the effect is turned on without you having to hold it. And in order to put it back to normal, we just press the switch and back off again, and then there'll be no effects. So I'm just going to show you some effects again. So okay, so that's the effects and the effect switch and button. And now we have these two controllers in which we can balance the effects. So here we have minimum to maximum, and the balance is called the bottommost one is dry and the topmost is wet. So we can balance it. So let's say for example we will select, say, the wah effect. We can balance it. So if it's on maximum, the wah goes really quick, and if it's like way down the bottom, it goes slow. And same thing goes to distortion, for example. We can have it a really hard distortion or really light distortion. So that's the controls of the patterns in which you can balance it around. Also works for the voices as well, not just the patterns. I'll show that to you quickly. So there you go, and that is the live effector, in which we have 10 different effects here, ranging from distortion or wah, delay, phaser, etc. And we have the switch to have the effect, and whilst holding that at the same time to have the effect permanently on until you press the switch again to turn it off. You also use this switch to change the different effects, and the controls here so that you can balance the effects around. So there you go, and that is the live effector. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to show you, and that is the Activator. Now I've already showed the Activator with the loops and one-shots with the patterns, as well as it having a voice button to change the voices, a pattern button to change the patterns, but we also have here the Activator button, in which we can change the different activators for loops and one-shots. There are altogether 52 activators to choose from. The first one being 2 zeros, that's basically the default activator for the pattern, which could be one of the 50, it could be like one of the 51 different activators there are. Well, I say 52 patterns, but the first one, 0 0, that's basically, it's basically the equivalent to the keyboards, like other keyboards, one-touch settings with the voices. This is basically, the 0 is like basically the one-touch setting for the patterns. So I'll quickly show that to you. So I've got pattern one selected, even though it's displayed as 2 zeros. So there's the and now I change the pattern. So yeah, each pattern has its default activator. Okay, so enough of that one at the moment, because yes, activator 0, that's basically the one touch of the patterns. And using this dialer wheel here, we can select altogether one of the 51 activators, or technically 52 if you're counting the sort of the one touch, sort of the preset for that particular pattern. So yeah, with the activator we can select all sorts of different ones. So or and as you know, the patterns also progresses to the chords of the patterns if the patterns are plain. But yeah, this is just a quick tip on, like, you can also select different activators with the activator button here.
Scratch.
So there you go, and that's just a quick tip on the activator with the activator button, in which you can select one of the 51 different activators there are on this keyboard, or 52 if you're counting 0, which is basically the default pattern, the default activator of the pattern that's been playing. So for example, yeah, each pattern has its own activator, which is basically, it could be one of the 51 activators that there are already built in on this keyboard. So there you go. And that is the activator button, in which we can select altogether 51 different activators for different loops and one-shots. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to show you, and that is this here performance recorder, in which with these buttons here you can record up to 6 of your performances using the patterns and the voices. And you can also turn parts of a pattern on and off and use the part selector for resonance and cut off along with the performance recorder. So I'll show that to you. I've already selected my voice and pattern that I'm going to use for this example. Okay, so here's how to do it. You hold down record and press any one of these 6 buttons. And now the keyboard waits for us to start playing. And then we just press the pattern stop to stop recording. And now we can play that back. So there you go. As you can see on the keyboard, every time I'm like doing like the live Effector effects or turning parts with the mixer and all that, it all changes as I'm doing it whilst I'm recording. So let me do another example of the performance recorder. So we're just going to press record, and this time we're going to select button number 2. We're going to select a different pattern. We're going to select this one. We're going to turn, at first we're going to just turn these off, these 2. every changes I've made, you can see the keyboard changing itself. So here we go. Here's what I've done. So yeah, that's all pretty cool features with the performance recorder, in which you can record up to 6 of your performances. And yes, as you saw, like every changes that I've made whilst I was recording, when you play it back, the keyboard automatically does it. You saw at the end of the second performance that I was scrolling through the different voices, and yes, as I was recording, and the keyboard does it itself when it's playing back. So that's pretty cool. It also, you know, you can the resonance and cutoff is also effective to the performance recorder, the live effector, the ribbon controller. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So that's the performance recorder, in which you can make you can record up to 6 of your own performances. So yeah, really cool stuff. So that is the performance recorder. Oh, and one more thing before I go on the performance recorder. What if you want to delete your recording? Well, that's simple. You just hold down record along with whatever buttons you've done your performances. So I'm going to do one, for instance. Hold down record and hold down button number 1 for this instance, and it says clear. Hold it for 3 seconds, and there you go. That performance has been deleted. So all I'm left is number 2. But also with the performance recorder, when you play it back, you can also change things as well. But I think what that does, it stops the performance recorder when you change things, I think. I'm not fully sure, but I think that's how it works. So there you go. And that is the performance recorder to record up to 6 of your performances. Okay, so now the last thing that I want to show you on this tutorial of the Yamaha DJX-II, and that is the sampler, in which we can sample things either using a microphone, and there's also a line-in jack at the back of the keyboard as well, in which you can also connect a CD player or a mini disc player, which unfortunately I don't have any of those on the keyboard at the moment. But what I do have is a microphone, which I will do some samples. So we're just going to turn on the microphone. Testing 1 2. Okay, so that's perfect. And then we can record samples using these sample buttons here. The buttons 1 to 3 are one-shot samples, and buttons 4 to 6 are loop samples, in which they will just loop over and over. So I will show that to you. Now, sampling time on this keyboard, of all the buttons put together, isn't very long. It's about 6 seconds long. So I am going to fill all sample buttons, but I'm going to try and make each sample at least a second long. So first of all, I'm going to be showing you the one shot with the microphone. So we just hold down sampling and press any one of these 6 buttons. and then the keyboard waits for us to start talking. And also, as soon as you're finished sampling, immediately turn a sample and press the sample button to stop the recording. Otherwise, it will just carry on with the sampling and basically wasting the seconds. So here we go. I'm going to do some sampling now. So we're going to press button 1. Hello. And now that's in there. Hello. 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 And now button number 2. Yo. 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 Hello. Yo. Yo. Button number 3. I. Oh, let's do that again. Which is another thing I want to show you. I will do that again. But if you want to delete a sample, you just hold down the sampling button along with any buttons you've got a sample on for 3 seconds, and it clears the sample. So I'm going to do that one again. That would I have to do. So I've got 3 one-shot samples. Hello, yo, hello, yo, and now we're going to do the loop samples. So I'm just trying to think what to say. I know. Yamaha. 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 And as you can hear, it's looping. Yamaha. Yamaha. So these are the one shots. Hello. Yo. And these are the loops, where it just loops over and over until you press the button again. Yamaha. 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 And I'm going to do another one. DJ. 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 I'll clear that one. I'm just trying to think what to say on the sample. I know. Dance machine. Dance machine. Dance machine. Dance machine. Dance machine. Dance machine. Because that's basically what the DJX-II is. It is pretty much a dance/groove machine. And now I'm going to load one more sample. Hopefully I've still got some time left in this with the sampling time. This is what I've got so far. Hello. Yo. Yamaha. Yamaha. Dance machine. Dance machine. Right, so I'm going to do one more one more sample. I'm just trying to think what to say. I'm just trying to think what to say here. So bear with me a minute. Just trying to think. I know. Remix. There we go. Remix. 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 So now we've filled all of these samples up. Hello. Yo. Yamaha. 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 Dance machine. Dance machine. Remix. 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 So those 3 are the loops, and these 3 are the one shots. So that's all our samples done. And now we select the voice 203, which is basically 204 because 0 counts as 1. Although there are 203 voices altogether on this keyboard. But you can have an additional voice with the sampling. So now that I've done all these sampling, I can now play them on the keys on the keyboard. Hello. 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 Go. 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 Hello. 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 Go. 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 Yamaha. 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 Dance machine. Dance machine. Dance machine. Dance machine. Remix. So yes, the top keys will be, if you hold them down, because they're loops. Remix.
remix, remix, dance machine, dance machine, dance machine. Yamaha, 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 Yamaha.
And these keys are just the one shots.
I go. Hello. I go, 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 go. Hello, 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 hello. Yamaha, 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 dance Yamaha, dance machine, Yamaha, machine, Yamaha, dance machine, dance machine, dance machine, dance machine.
So yeah, that's pretty awesome. That the sampling and how to do it and that. Very simple, very easy. As I showed you before, yeah, if you want to delete a sample, you just hold down the sampling button along with one of these 6 buttons. But unfortunately, when you got the voice selected at 203, you can't do that. So we just scrolled it down, change a different sound, and this is where we can start deleting samples. So I've deleted 4, and I'm going to delete 2. So that's 4 and 2 deleted. Leaving these.
Hello, dance machine, dance machine, remix machine, remix, dance machine, remix, dance machine, remix, dance machine, dance machine, dance machine.
So there you go. And that is the sample, the sampler in which you can add samples to one of these 6 buttons. The first 3 buttons are the one-shot samples, and the last 3, 4, 5, 6 are the loops, where it just loops over and over. And another thing I want to tell you before I go, this keyboard also has a tempo tap in which you can press the button 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, to get a tempo. But unfortunately, the tempo button, the tempo tap, doesn't work on this keyboard, so unfortunately I can't show that. Okay, just one more quick thing that I forgot to mention within the sampling. With the voices here.
Dance machine, dance machine.
Is that the sample can also be affected with the live effector. So I'll show that to you. It's just one quick thing that I forgot to mention.
Dance machine, dance machine, dance machine. Remix, 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 remix.
So there you go. Just a quick thing that to show you, because I nearly forgotten about that. So yeah, really awesome keyboard, the DJX-II. As I said earlier, it's hard to say which is better, the DJX-I or DJX-II. I love them both the same. Although the DJX-I has more sounds with touch-sensitive keys, and it has also auto-accompaniment styles, whereas the DJX-II doesn't have as many sounds, doesn't have touch-sensitive keys, it doesn't have auto-accompaniment styles, but it has patterns in which you showed me, in which you saw me demonstrate them on the first part of this video. So that is the end of this tutorial of the Yamaha DJX-II. And that is the onboard sampler, in which you can sample using these 6 buttons here. Okay, so this is now the end of this tutorial of the Yamaha DJX-II keyboard. I do hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and that you have found it useful. So please do write back to me and tell me what you think. Thank you very much for watching. And stay tuned for the next video of this keyboard, in which I'll be showing you the 203 voices.